For months, Americans were told something big was coming, that the Epstein list was real, that powerful names would be exposed, that the truth was finally about to come out. These claims were repeated on podcasts, in interviews, and across social media by people close to power. Millions believed it, millions waited. But now under oath inside a congressional hearing, that story suddenly starts to fall apart. The same voices that once hinted at secret files and hidden lists are now saying something very different. So what actually changed? Was the public misled? Or was the Epstein narrative turned into political hype? Because what you're about to see isn't just about Epstein. It's about trust, influence, and how political stories are built in America.
I want to take your attention back a second, okay? Breaking news. Kash Patel is nominated to be the FBI director. Dan Bongino is nominated to be the #2 at the FBI. MAGA celebrates, rejoices, bells are ringing out. The team, Patel, Bongino, that sought out every podcast microphone to talk about the Epstein list. The names are finally going to get released. It begins. They produce white binders. Phase 1 with the podcasters. This is not actually one of them, of course. I made this up. Your name's on it, right? And the names are going to come out. Pam Bondi says the list is on her desk. Then a memo comes out all of a sudden and says there's no list.
For a long time, public figures and online commentators claimed there was a secret Epstein list. They said powerful people would be exposed. They said more information was coming. Millions of Americans heard those claims and believed accountability was finally on the way.
No phase 2. Phase 2 binders never happened. You said the conspiracy theories around Epstein just aren't true. They never have been. And yesterday, in an answer to Senator Kennedy, you said the FBI is not in possession of any credible evidence that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone but himself. So according to your testimony yesterday and in this committee, according to the evidence the FBI has, the number of names on the list are zero.
No,
zero.
The index has been released, and the number of people involved in that trafficking operation were charged in 2018.
Other than Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, your testimony in the Senate and here is that according to the evidence you have, the number of other names is zero.
That were charged based on credible evidence.
Well, who are the other names? Give me the other names that weren't charged.
We are not releasing the names of anyone because the Department of Justice never does that of anyone that didn't have any credible information to attack them.
Let me move forward. The president has, you've seen the picture of the woman's body with the writing and the president's signature. The president says that's not his, okay? President says it's not his. The Republican colleagues say it's not his. The administration say it's not his. Will you be opening up an investigation into the Epstein?
What makes this hearing so important isn't Jeffrey Epstein himself. It's what this moment says about truth, influence, and accountability in American politics. For years, Epstein's name has represented more than a criminal case. It became a symbol of elite privilege, secrecy, and the fear that powerful people never face consequences. That belief didn't come out of nowhere. It grew because influential voices repeatedly suggested there was more to the story. Podcast appearances, interviews, and viral clips pushed the idea that a hidden list existed, that names would eventually be exposed. These claims reached millions of Americans and shaped expectations across the political spectrum. But now, in a formal congressional setting under oath, the tone changes. The same narrative that once fueled attention is being walked back. There is no confirmed list, no second phase, no hidden release waiting behind the scenes. And that contradiction is the heart of this hearing. Congressman Jared Moskowitz isn't defending Epstein, and he isn't attacking political ideology. He's pointing out something more basic when public figures make claims that influence millions. They should be accountable for those claims, because words matter. In today's media environment, a casual statement on a podcast can travel just as far as an official government announcement. The line between opinion speculation and fact has become increasingly blurred, and when that happens, public trust starts to erode. This hearing highlights how modern political narratives are built. A dramatic claim gains traction online. It spreads through clips, headlines, and social media. Supporters repeat it, critics react to it. And before long, it becomes part of the national conversation, even if it was never proven. When expectations are raised that high, walking them back quietly creates frustration. People begin to feel misled, others begin to suspect cover-ups, and some lose faith in institutions altogether. That's why moments like this matter. They force clarity, they put public statements on the record, and they challenge leaders to explain the gap between what was suggested before and what is being said now. It's also a reminder that transparency doesn't just mean releasing documents. It means being careful and honest with language, especially when speaking to large audiences who trust what they hear. This hearing doesn't prove a conspiracy. It doesn't confirm secret evidence. What it does reveal is how easily narratives can take on a life of their own in today's political culture. In a system built on public trust, that's a serious issue. Americans across the political spectrum want accountability. They want consistency. And they want leaders who understand the responsibility that comes with influence. When that responsibility breaks down, confusion fills the gap. And confusion creates division. That's why this exchange stands out. Not because of what was revealed, but because of what was walked back. It shows how powerful storytelling can be in politics and how dangerous it can become when it replaces verified facts. At the end of the day, this isn't just about Epstein. It's about credibility. It's about honesty. And it's about whether public figures should be held responsible for the narratives they promote. Because once trust is lost, it's extremely hard to rebuild. And hearings like this quietly expose where that trust starts to crack. So the real question Americans are left with is simple. Should leaders be held accountable not only for their actions, but for the stories they tell? That's the conversation this moment forces us to have.